Hey guys, it's Byron here and welcome to Byron's Reviews. So this is going to be another one of my discussion styled videos, and like one I made in the past, I'd like to start by asking you a question. What is a so bad it's good film? Now you've probably heard that phrase many times in the past, and I bet when I mentioned it, several films started floating around in your head. But I'm curious to hear what that phrase actually means to you, because after looking at various different articles online, I'd seen several different interpretations of what the phrase means. So, if you want to, I encourage you guys to pause this video now and post in the comments one example of what you would label as a so bad it's good film. Then, after this video, we can look back at that comment and see if you'd still label it as that, because I think that my interpretation of what a so bad it's good film is quite different to that of other people's, so let me tell you more about what I think. Let's start by looking at one of those articles I referenced to earlier on the topic of so bad it's good movies, and this one is by omglane.com. But take into account that I won't be going over the full article, I'll just be skimming it, so if you want to read the full thing, the link is in the description. And also, I'm really not meaning to attack this article, but it says several things that I do disagree with, so I'm going to be saying these things. First of all, it says, and I quote, "There is a perverse joy in watching really bad movies and mocking them throughout. And, according to some studies, this strange phenomenon is actually a sign of intelligence, as your brain has to acknowledge that the film is objectively bad, whilst identifying why it is enjoying itself." Now, I was on board with this quote until the phrase objectively bad. It even reinforced this in the next sentence with, "Let's get this straight, some films are just bad," which I completely disagree with. In my opinion, films and pretty much all forms of art are 100% subjective, meaning there is no right or wrong answer about what a good or bad film is. Even the argument I'm proposing now isn't fact, it's just one of many different viewpoints, none of which are right, they're just different. Wow, the amount of quotation marks I've used in this video is off the rails. By the nature of storytelling and characters, which are huge elements of most films, I think that it is near impossible for everybody who sees a film to respond in the exact same way. Individuals are supposed to respond to art forms in different ways, and that's what I think makes films so complex, special, and it's the exact reason why I always encourage you guys to post your thoughts in the comments, even if they're different to mine. So, I do not think that acknowledging a film as objectively bad is intelligent. I actually think it's kind of self-righteous. Anyway, let's carry on reading. What's the first example they give? Number 15, Sharknado. Oh boy, we're going here. Right off the bat, I disagree with this, but let's hear their reasoning behind giving Sharknado the 15th spot. They said, "Sharknado typifies everything about a good B-movie that seizes upon a ridiculous premise and runs with it in a gory camp fashion, and makes it fun by realising it is not going to ever be taken seriously." Okay, I agree with this point in terms of why Sharknado works, but what annoys me about it is how it contradicts the two reasons given prior as to what they think makes a so bad it's good movie. These points were the following: because they don't realise how bad they are and thus become inadvertently funny, and because the production values just don't match the size and scope of the initial idea. I find it funny how the article argues that Sharknado is so bad it's good because it is self-aware, when it previously said that a lot of these movies aren't self-aware. Now, here's what I think of Sharknado and why I wouldn't call it so bad it's good. As we've established, the creators of Sharknado knew exactly what they were making when they made the movie, and as a result, they targeted it towards its core audience of low-budget, cheesy B-movies with an outlandish premise. You just need to look at its tagline, "Enough said," to see that that's the case. In doing this, Sharknado succeeded in its goal and achieved what it always set out to do, so I think that calling it bad, or even so bad it's good, would be a disservice to its accomplishment. Sure, Sharknado's audience may be very small and niche, but for the most part, it appealed for those people like it was supposed to. However, due to Sharknado reaching a much more mainstream audience than other B-movies of its kind, many people outside of its core demographic see it, they don't understand the appeal, so they just label it as bad. To that I say that before you criticise something, you need to understand its intentions. What is it trying to be? Are you the kind of person it was aimed towards? If the answer is no, then a lot of your criticisms may be the result of trying to make the film something it was never intended to be. As a result, I would personally label Sharknado as a good film and not a so bad it's good movie. That said, the question still stands. What is a so bad it's good film? Let's have another look through this list. Aha! Number 10, Birdemic Shock and Terror. Now this one I agree with. Just a side note, I know I've talked about Birdemic and Sharknado a lot on my channel so far, but bear with me, they prove the point I'm trying to make very nicely. Anyway, what did OMG Lane have to say about Birdemic? The film was quoted as being hilarious in how bad the special effects are, factor in awkward direction that sees shaky framing and shoddy dialogue, and you have a movie so awful that people have an enduring love for it. Unlike what they had to say about Sharknado, their reasoning for Birdemic being a so bad it's good film actually works for me. They even prior to this stated what the film set out to do, which was to be an update of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. While some people have disagreed with me, I personally saw Birdemic to be a very honest effort from the director James McGowan to make a genuinely scary romantic thriller that was supposed to have a message about global warming in the tradition of the Hitchcock classic. To me and many others, however, it failed with this task, reaching an audience of bad movie fans and not necessarily fans of romantic thrillers. The bad production values, such as acting, sound mixing and dialogue, made me laugh, and the enjoyment of the film for me came from something it was not supposed to come from. It failed with its intentions, so could be seen as so bad, but it was enjoyable as a result, so it could also be viewed as good. As a result, I think it is so bad it's good. It was funny because of its failings, and I think that's what a so bad it's good film is. In my opinion, like Sharknado, it all comes down to the film's initial intentions, and whether it succeeded, and whether it was still enjoyable if it didn't. I enjoyed Sharknado for meeting its intentions, but I also enjoyed Birdemic for not meeting them. And so, the message I want to try and get across with this video is that films and how they're judged come down to so much more than just cinematography, writing and things like that. Although they're important factors, hence why I've talked about them a lot in this video, I think it's also important to realise that films can potentially work on many different, more complex levels. A film breaking conventions or stepping out of the ordinary doesn't automatically make it bad, and I think that labelling films like Birdemic or Sharknado as bad for having wacky premises or having terrible filmmaking production values is quite close-minded. You need to look deeper and have an open mind to truly understand some films. So, going back to what we said at the beginning of this video, if you left one, I'd like you to go back and look at the comment you left earlier. And have I convinced you with this video or managed to change your opinions? If so, would you still call the film you mentioned so bad it's good? Be sure to let me know by leaving a follow-up comment to your first one. I'm genuinely curious. Yeah, I know this comment exercise has been a little weird and different, but tell me if you liked it and I may do it again. And before I end this video, I'd just like to say that some of the titles mentioned on omglanes.com's list actually did fit with my definition of what a so bad it's good film is, but others didn't. I'm not trying to say that that website is wrong or that anybody is wrong. This is just my opinion and I used their article to try and express that opinion. And as I said earlier, if you want to read the full article, it is linked down in the description. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said earlier, I've done many other videos on this channel about Birdemic or Sharknado, and you'll be able to find them in the end cards. But until next time, I will see you later. Bye. I bought this film, Chop Kick Panda, hoping for a so bad it's good film to use in this video, but it actually wasn't that bad. Damn.